Rev up your engines!
Graham S. says, Scotty, how do you stay up to date with all the newer car technologies? Well, you know, that used to drive me nuts. When I was just a mechanic and didn't make videos on YouTube or didn't talk about them on CBS TV like I did for 13 years, I hated all the new technology that kept coming out because I had to go and buy all the equipment to analyze them and how you learn how to use it. But that's not the case anymore. Because for ages, all these companies, when they come up with new scan tools, new hand tools, new information, they sent me an email and said, Scotty, you want to try this out? And they said, sure, I love trying out new technology. I didn't have to buy this stuff. So now, I just was working on a Lexus, and man, I just plugged in my fancy $5,000 scan tool that I got for nothing, and it immediately found the problem, and I knew what to do and replaced it, and it was fixed. And this was after the guy taking the car to 5 different mechanics couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. I kind of like the new technology. It makes it interesting, and I get to play around with it, and I don't have to pay for it. Like Barrett says, does a low fuel octane affect an engine that says it requires a higher octane? Well, it does, but not that badly in some. If you have a modern car, last year I had a brand new Mustang for a week, and it was that EcoBoost 4-cylinder Mustang that put out 300-something horsepower. And it even said in the manual, you can run it on any gas you want. If you run it on regular gas, it had 200-something horsepower, but if you ran it on premium gas, it had 300-something horsepower. Those are set to run on anything, and they'll run perfectly fine, but you just won't have the horsepower. But if you have an older car that requires high octane fuel and you run it on low octane fuel, generally it'll have a tendency of carboning up and not running. And then when you accelerate hard, especially going uphill, you might hear the valves clattering because the octane's too low. That's how you can tell. But a lot of modern cars, they'll run on anything. The computers can control absolutely everything and compensate for a lower octane fuel. Alex O'Malley says, Scotty, what do you think about Honda, Acura, RSX? Is any year more reliable than other? Perform better? Those are all pretty well-made vehicles. If you really want to drive zippy and get one, get the standard transmission, because of course being a Honda product, Acura is made by Honda, those are kind of weak transmissions and they can last a reasonable amount of time, but when the trannies go out, then you're going to spend $3,000 to $5,000 fixing them, and they're a lot more fun to drive with a standard transmission. Realize that. Got customers with them, and the ones with standards love them, and the ones with automatics, they liked the car until the transmission broke, and then they said they'd never buy another one. Islands E20 says, Scotty, I got a 2014 Suzuki Swift Sport. I want to remove the middle silencer and exhaust and replace it with a straight pipe. What do you think? When I was a kid, you could do stuff like that because they only had carburetors on them, and usually they'd still run okay, and if they didn't, you would just buy a jet kit for $10 and rejet the carburetor so it ran right. Modern cars, absolutely everything is run by computer. So if you take the muffler off and run a straight pipe, you're going to change the back pressure, and the computer is going to be confused, and it might give the wrong air-fuel ratio over time and make the car run worse, and the check engine light comes on. If you're going to do something like that, then you have to find a very high-tech mechanic who's got a 5-gas analyzer and a dynamometer and can run it on there and have the ability to reprogram your computer so it runs right. There's guys that can do that kind of stuff, but they don't do it cheap. You want to do that, you have to go that far. Burning Gas says, why don't you drive diesels? Well, I don't drive diesels because they smell. I don't like the smell. They stink, you know? Doesn't matter what they do. They all smell because they have incomplete combustion to some extent. And now they have all those particulate filters in them, and those go bad, and then they cost a fortune, and they're very complicated with that formula you got to pour in, and then I see them break down. I personally have to fix them for other people's cars. Hey, I'm not a diesel fan. I talked to the president of oil and grease in Shell Oil. He's English. He's from Liverpool. And he told me, he said, Scotty, you Americans were right going for gasoline because in England, we all went for diesel, and now we're all giving up with it because it's too polluting and stuff. And it was a mistake. You did it the right way. We did it the wrong way. So that's why I don't drive them. I fix them for people, though. Another reason I don't drive them, they cost too much to fix when they do break. Heidi Sun says, are you the bassist from Rick Kay and the All-Nighters? You know, kind of funny. I think it's my doppelganger. I have had people send me pictures of it, and I'm like, whoa, the guy looks like me, maybe a little bit heavier, but he looked just like me. That is pretty funny. Now, I don't know how to play a bass guitar. I can play an harmonica and a hammered dulcimer. I can play drums, but I don't know how to play a bass. I tried an electric guitar once. It was too complicated for me, and I'm left-handed. Hey, send me a picture, and I'll autograph it for you. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.